Howdy guys, Bookie Laura here. This week I've taken part in Shaketube again. It's week 3 and this week's Shakespeare play was Romeo and Juliet. For those of you who don't know, Shaketube is basically a bunch of guys set up a kind of read-along where we're reading a Shakespeare play every week between September and December, and then on the Friday everybody uploads their kind of reaction to the play, and it gives a great opportunity to get some Shakespeare under your belt, but also to discuss it, to get other people's opinions and share your own, and I've really enjoyed that. Firstly, for those of you who don't know, whoever they may be, it's basically the tale of two guys, not men, two people who meet and fall in love, but both of their families are sort of feuding, are at war, and much chaos ensues. And it's one of the tragedies, so you know it's going to end in misery. In fact, it tells you right from one of the first lines in the play. It says, and I quote, "A pair of star-crossed lovers take their lives." So you know straight away these two kids are going to fall in love and then they're going to kill themselves. But that doesn't take away from the story at all. I think that knowing that doesn't ruin it. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I struggled last week with Richard III, and I think this week I managed to get back into it and I actually really enjoyed it. I think it helped that I studied this when I was in school. I found that there are actually a lot of quotes that I could remember the rhythm of and what have you. And I also have seen the film, the Baz Luhrmann film, 8 million times. So I was able to visualise a lot of that, and I think that helped as well. But overall, I found it to be a simpler play. I don't know why. There were less characters, the storyline everybody knows, and I think that a lot of things helped. I really liked this edition, not so much in terms of me, but in terms of people, younger school students and what have you, who are perhaps coming across Shakespeare for the first time, because it does the play on this side, but on this side it does the normal kind of annotations and notes about the language, but it provides at the top of each page a summary of basically, this is what's happening on this page. And that I thought was really cool, because I thought if at any point you were struggling, you could just reread that and make sure that you were following the story, which was awesome. So yes, once again I found Shakespeare to be far more accessible than I expected, and I don't need to keep looking at the notes. I'm able to pick up on the meaning behind it, which I really didn't expect, and that's been really good. To me, it felt like there were more rhyming couplets and what have you, but I don't know whether that's just because I've heard it read aloud so many times that I was more aware of them, but I think that was more pleasing to the ear and allowed it to flow a bit better for me. I say I really enjoyed it, but actually there are a lot of things about this that I find really irritating, but then I think you're supposed to. Like Romeo, for example. I have issues with Romeo, because Romeo starts off this play saying, oh, he's so in love with Rosaline, and oh, how is he going to cope? And then he meets Juliet and he's like, oh, actually, I love you. And that I find really gets my goat. But I think that actually that is one of the themes of this play, is about love and different interpretations of it. And actually, there was a point where I was thinking, the nurse, when she realised that Juliet had killed herself, or when she'd put herself to sleep and she thought she'd killed herself, the way that nurse reacted, to me, felt like the truest sense of love in this play. Like, lots of people in this play talk of being in love. Capulet talks of the love that he has for his daughter, and she's so amazing, but then when she said she wasn't going to marry Paris, he's like, you're no daughter of mine, I'll throw you out in the street. Romeo speaks of loving Juliet, but actually 5 minutes ago he spoke of loving somebody else. So I think there's a lot of different interpretations of love, and a lot of different sort of ideas. And for me, the way that Nurse was to Juliet was the truest form of love in my book, that actually she adored that girl and she wanted the best for her, and she did things that you could almost feel that she didn't want to do. They didn't sit right with her when she went and met with Romeo and passed on messages, but she did it because she loved Juliet, and her reaction when she thought that Juliet had died, to me, just summed that up. Everybody else's reaction, Nurse never let her down. All the way through, she was really there for Juliet. Oh, I love Nurse and Juliet. They're the star-crossed lovers. But anyway, I gave this 4 stars. I have enjoyed it more, and it's one of the plays that I would really like to see. I think I'd really like to see Romeo and Juliet. I'm really interested to see other people's interpretations and how they find it, because I'd love to try and get to the bottom to unpick exactly what it is about this play that I love. Like, is it just because I did it in school and it's got this nostalgia thing, and actually Leonardo DiCaprio when I was a teenager? Is it that? I don't know. Or is it that it is a simpler story and that it's better told than previous books that I've read? I don't know. I look forward to seeing what other people think. I'm not 100% sure at the moment that I'll be taking part in the next few weeks of Shaketube. I went to the library to see if I could pick up some copies of the plays, and my library was utterly rubbish. They only have like 2 Shakespeare plays. So I think I might be giving it a miss for a couple of weeks. I did manage to get one, Midsummer Night's Dream, so I think I'll join in with that week. It's going to be more difficult anyway because I'm back at work now, and that leaves me much less time for reading. But my love of Shaketube is not done. It's just on hold until I have more time. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.